Welcome everyone, my name's Steve Tyndall. I'm the Product Manager with Oracle Integration Cloud. Today I'm going to give you a demonstration of the brand new file server system events feature in OIC. This is a feature that allows you to have an event automatically fired whenever you upload or delete or basically execute CRUD operations on files in the built-in file server. Okay, so let's go ahead and build an integration, and what we're going to do is we're going to build an integration which is going to be automatically triggered by an event when someone uploads a new file into OIC file server. So let's go ahead into our projects. Let's go ahead and create a new project. I'll create a new project. We'll call this invoice processing. We'll create our new project, and we'll go ahead and we'll just create an integration. In this case, we don't even need a connection because we're going to be triggering our integration with an event. Let's have a look at how we do that. Let's go ahead and create an integration, and you'll note here I'm going to choose an event-driven integration. So I'm not a normal application integration, not a schedule, but an event-driven integration. So I'm going to choose event-driven integration, and I'm going to call this process new invoices. So I'm creating a new integration which is an event-driven integration called process new invoices. And let's go ahead and choose the event. Now you'll see it's this event trigger has prompted me to choose an event, and I don't have any events defined in my project. I haven't defined any custom events, so there's nothing there at all. There's probably some shared events. That'll be some events from other projects, other developers that have shared their events with me. I don't even know what that one is, but it doesn't matter. But here's the thing I want to draw your attention to. Have a brand new set of system events in OIC. So these are events that are automatically generated by OIC system runtime. And you can see here under system events, I've got new events for file server. And for starters, we've got 4 new events: file created, file deleted, folder created, and folder deleted. And we will add more events with new releases, but in this first release you can do most of what you need with these 4 events. Let's go ahead and choose file created. So what I'm saying here is I want this integration to run whenever a new file is uploaded to the OIC built-in file server. Now, if I just went ahead and hit finish there, which we can do, then this integration is going to fire whenever a file is uploaded to file server into any folder. I haven't set any filter, so any file that gets uploaded to any filter, any file of any type or any name will fire this integration. And obviously that's not something you would normally want to do. So let's go back into the trigger. We're going to edit the trigger. And you'll see here we do have the option to add a filter. And I'm going to go ahead and click Add Filter. And today in this first release, you have to write the filter by hand using JQ filter syntax. And so that's something you're going to have to figure out how to do by reading the documentations and have a look at this blog. It's got some good samples, etc. in it. And so I'm going to go ahead and put a sample here. And what this is saying is the types of JQ filter, filter definition, and data. What we're saying is the name of the file should equal invoice.json. So this is effectively a filter that's saying, hey, when a file gets uploaded to file server, this integration should only be triggered if the file being uploaded is, the name of the file is invoice.json. An even more appropriate one would be something like this. Okay, so where the path is /inbox invoices and the name is invoice.json. In other words, only fire this integration if a file called invoice.json gets uploaded to the inbox invoices folder. Now, a quick note, in the future we do intend to release a graphical designer, so you'll be able to configure this filter, the nice UI, but for this first release you will have to learn how to write this JQ filter. Okay, Let's go ahead and hit validate on that, just to confirm that our filter is successful, and it has validated. We can go back and we can hit finish. So now I've got a event subscription with a filter defined. We can go ahead and save that, and now we can go ahead and implement the rest of our integration. And if I'm processing invoices, obviously I'm going to do something like I'm going to need to get a reference to the file so I can start doing work on it. So I'm going to come in here to actions. I'll go down to the file server action. I'll drop that down, and I'll say here, I'll call this get file reference. And what do I want to do? The resource, I want to get a reference to a file, and the operation is get file reference. And the input directory, I'll just put / for now, and the file name is some file. And we are going to map these two parameters, the input directory and the file name, dynamically, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So we'll go ahead and put continue, and let's finish. So now I've got my get file reference step, which is going to go to the file server and get the file reference for the file that was just created. So we'll go ahead and we'll edit the map step for that. And we can take a look at the event headers or the metadata that was provided for us in this file created event. And so if we click on request wrapper, we can see here's all of the information that's provided to us in the event. And if we look over here on the right hand side at the parameters we need to send into our get file reference request, we can see we need directory and file. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to map path to directory, and we're going to map name to the file name, and we can hit validate, and we can then exit out of the mapper. So now I've got a step where our integration is automatically fired by the new upload event, and then the name and the path for that file that was uploaded has been mapped into our file server get file reference step. Now, the next obvious thing I'm going to want to do after I've got a reference to the file is I'm going to want to start working on this file. I want to process that file. So in order to do something useful with this file, obviously I'm going to want to read that file. I want to read that file into memory so that I can start mapping data out of that file. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the stage file action. Stage file action is an action we provide that allows you to interact with files, stage them temporarily so you can read and write them, etc. So we're going to use stage file. We're going to call this read file, and we'll go next on that. And it's asking me what operation do I want to do, and I can do any of these things: list files, write files, etc. I obviously want to read a file. I want to read the entire file. And it's saying, do you want to use a file reference to read this file? And of course, in my case, the answer is yes, I do want to use a file reference. And here I can specify the reference to use to read this file. I can click on here, and we can go ahead and find the output of our get file reference step. That's the last step we built in the integration. And we can see here that we've got our file reference. So I'll go ahead and drag that guy into there. And then everything else on this page is fine. I don't need to decrypt. I don't want to remove any trailers. So I'll go ahead and hit continue. And now it's asking me to provide a sample structure of the file that I'm planning to read. This is so OIC can parse that file. So in my case, the file I'm going to use is a JSON document. It could be an XML, it could be CSV, etc., or even an EDI document. We're going to go ahead and choose a JSON document. And it's going to ask me to upload a sample of that file. Well, I've got a sample of my invoice files here. So I'll go ahead and I'll get my invoice.json file. I'll upload that and drop it here. And it's selected invoice JSON. It's parsed that successfully. I can go ahead and hit continue and finish. So now I've got an integration which is basically ready to start doing the work on the actual file. We've got an integration which is automatically triggered when a file gets uploaded. We've filtered that to make sure it only gets triggered on invoice files called invoice.json, and only if they're put in the inbox invoices directory. We're getting a reference to that file, and then we're reading that file into memory. And once I've read that file into memory, of course, I could start doing some work on it. I might do something like, for example, maybe I want to loop through each of the items in the invoice to upload them somewhere or to check them. So I might do something like, a for each loop. And in the for each loop, I'd go and find the output of my read file, which is the read file we just did. And you can see I've got an item list here in my JSON invoice. So I could take this item list, drag that to the repeating element, and go ahead and exit out of there. And I've now got a for loop, which is going to loop through each item in that invoice. And of course, from there, I could make web service calls or look up extra data information, find out information about each product, etc., and process that invoice however I need to process it. For the sake of this demo, though, we'll just leave it where we're at. We'll go ahead and delete the for each loop. And let's execute this integration and see what happens. So we'll hit save there. Okay, so let's go ahead and activate our integration. I'll activate it in debug mode. And this integration is going to get activated automatically whenever we upload a invoice.json file to our inbox invoices file. So let's go ahead and do that. I've got FileZilla running here. It's a local FTP client. I'm going to go ahead and connect to my FTP server. In this case, I'm connecting to the file server that's built into OIC. So I'm using FTP, and I'm using my host name and the port number that my particular server is running on. And we can go ahead and connect to this guy. So I'm connecting to my server. Okay. You can see here my remote directory is inbox and invoices. I'm going to take invoice.json. Remember, our filter only processed files if they're called invoice.json. So I'll drag that across there, and that's going to upload that file to the file server in OIC. And let's go back to file server or OIC now and have a look what's happened. So we've got our integration running. We can click on Observe and have a look at that integration. So we can click Observe. We can see there that one instance has run. Click on Instances. We can see that it's run just now. The name was invoice.json. The business identifiers were inbox invoices, and the size is 22225. And we can go ahead and we can see that integration executed. The event got triggered automatically. We got the reference to the file, and then we went ahead and read the file. And so if we go and have a look at the read file, we can see, this is the stage file read. We can see there's the data that's come out of that invoice.json file. So that concludes the demo. Just as a summary, we're now supporting system events for the file server in OIC. You'll note that I didn't have to define the event at all. It's a built-in system event, and it's that easy to start writing integrations which now will automatically be fired when files are uploaded or deleted, etc. in the OIC file server. So this is great news for people that are using file server. No need to write polling integrations anymore. You can now use file server system events to execute your integrations. Thanks a lot for your time.